to Most Haunted. Tonight we are live from the Midland Grand Hotel. It's a building that has remained derelict since 1935. Well, tonight we have reopened it to start a paranormal investigation. Ghost sightings and paranormal activity have been reported here for many years. Now, on the sofa, we have experts, some old faces and some new faces, and of course, the lovely David Bull.
Hello, good evening to you, and welcome to this fantastically opulent hotel. Now, this is actually one of the best examples of Victorian Gothic architecture. It cost £500,000, did you know that? And there are over 60 million bricks in this very hotel.
I never knew that. I'm going to go off now to the first supposed haunted location, which is called the Opium Den, so I will see you later.
Good luck. Now, as Yvette makes her way to the Opium Den, let me tell you about tonight, because we also have Showbiz Most Haunted live viewers. We've got Melinda Messenger and Richard Arnold.
We're a bag of nerves.
Why?
Well, I've admired this building for a long time. As someone who's a fan of the 30s anyway, I've got loads of 30s sort of bar paraphernalia back in my home, just down the road. And I've passed it as a Londoner for years, but of course no one's been allowed in it.
I have to tell you guys that we will be putting you to the test. We will be sending you into some of the rooms here in the hotel, so be scared, be very scared. Now, I did mention that this hotel has an enormous history. It's fantastic. It goes back many, many years. So let us tell you a little bit about the story, the history of the Midland Grand Hotel. George Gilbert Scott had a vision to bring an exclusive residence that would tower above the capital, brimming with opulence and luxury. Esteemed social gatherings, affluent guests, lavish halls and sweeping staircases. This would be a prestigious sanctuary for the wealthy elite. In 1865, a competition to design the new Midland Grand Hotel was launched, and out of 11 architects, Scott submitted a grand plan considerably larger than the original specification, with more than 300 bedrooms. But the hotel was ill-fated from the start. The sumptuous decor, expensive tariffs and outdated facilities eventually led to its closure in 1925. And after a brief life as offices, the hotel gasped its last breath in the 1960s, remaining abandoned and derelict to this present day. Phil Wyman has been studying the area, carrying out his baseline experiments in preparation for Derek's arrival.
Well, the experiments that we're going to be doing today consist of an EMF meter, which basically detects fluctuations in the electromagnetic field. We're also doing a trigger object, which is basically where we draw around an object on a sheet of paper, lock the area off so nobody can get into the area, and check back periodically to see if that has actually been moved by some spiritual entity. And we're also going to be doing a temperature gauge, which gives us a basic mean temperature for the rooms that we're going to be doing the experiments in and looking and conducting the vigils in later on. Well, I think our spirit medium, Derek Okora, is going to pick up a lot of residual energies. I hope he's going to pick up some actual spiritual or interactive energies as well. But I believe, for me personally, that this building contains a lot of residual energies and residual hauntings, so I'm interested to see if Derek will pick up on those.
Its curved red brick walls and menacing towers still remain a space of mystery and intrigue. Who is the man that occupies room 10? Could the noises from the basement be the marching footfall of Roman soldiers? And what haunts the steps of the main stairwell? Stuck in time and lost in purpose, the Midland Grand Hotel lies in darkness, waiting to be resurrected from the tomb it now represents. So, there you have it. The history of the Midland Grand Hotel. Now, it does strike me that there is someone missing. He is a favourite of living TV viewers. He's a clairvoyant. He's also a clairaudient. Ladies and gentlemen, please will you welcome Derek Okora.
David.
Nice to see you.
Nice
How
to see
are
you?
you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
I'm great.
Now, very quickly, tell us, we're conducting a number of experiments. Tell us about this psychic experiment, very briefly.
Well, we're going to actually ask a...
What are you doing? Are you feeling some energy here?
I'm picking up, actually, someone with me, would you believe it? And actually stopping me in my tracks.
Okay.
And it's a
What
man.
do you feel? What do you feel?
I feel there's activity here. And I'm being stumped right at this moment by the spirit person.
Describe it, can you?
This man, he made me go into water. He drowned. And I'm choking here. And there's also the energy of a lady. And she's also come behind me. This is the first ever for me, anything quite like this.
I've never seen you stumped like that.
And what can I say? These people lost their lives in this building going back in time. And collectively, they lost their lives, David, around the same time. I don't know how at the moment, but I'm hoping with them making that first link that, hey, we're in for some kind of active time.
Can you feel a sense? Do you know what sort of era we're talking about?
Ooh, I feel at this time, maybe Sam, my guide, will help me with this, but I want to go back. I want to go possibly into the 1890s.
Well, we've had a remarkable start to the evening already. Derek Okora is here. He has sensed already that there is a spiritual presence already which confounded him the minute he walked in to the building. Amazing stuff. Now, also I said that we are going to do a whole host of experiments tonight. The first of those is a psychic experiment. Kieran, can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, this is going to be a mass experiment. Throughout the evening, Derek is going to be walking around. He's going to be getting the names of spirits. What we want is the TV viewers at home to do automatic writing. Now, automatic writing entails having a blank piece of paper,
Right.
and you hold a pen.
So they need a pen and a piece of paper.
Pen and a piece of paper. You relax, just hold the pen, and you let messages come through. Essentially, you're trying to get the name. So at the top of the piece of paper, the question you need to write is, who are the ghosts of St. Pancras? And that is the question also that Derek will be asking as he's walking around.
Right, let's get this straight. So you take your piece of paper, you write at the top of it, who are the ghosts of St. Pancras?
Yes.
Then what do you do?
Then you just relax and you let the pen guide you. So you'll be getting messages coming through, allegedly, and writing names or other sort of messages that come through.
Or a diagram.
Or a diagram. You may even get incomprehensible squiggles, but you'll hopefully get something come through.
We have done something differently this time. What we did was we took 6 of our most haunted live viewers and we put them in this hotel for the evening. They have walked around this hotel, they've experienced the many rooms, the various happenings, and had a number of experiences. And they have chosen the first of the locations to send the most haunted team. And they have decided the place that they should start, and we should start tonight, is the Opium Den. Have a look at this. Nestled within the depths of the basement is a dark and barren space. Previously a lift room where food would be transported to the various floors above. Now in silence and in shadows, waiting patiently for a time when it will serve once more. Far away from civilization and with nowhere to run, would anybody really hear the screams of hell bellowing from the lungs of this discarded body of bricks? In preparation for tonight's event, we invited 6 most haunted viewers to spend an evening in this hotel. Each arrived in trepidation and excitement for the night ahead. They collected their camcorder, map and torch and set off into the night in this unique experiment. Will the ghosts of the Midland Grand Hotel make themselves known? Who knew what would be uncovered deep in the heart of the hotel cellars? Jackie Newcomb and Sarah J. Greenway took the plunge and went dousing to try and make contact with the spirits of the Midland Grand.
We've decided to try and ask a few questions, just to see if it responds to anything or will answer any questions. So we're going to try that now. Oh,
What the hell was that? Oh my God, something's touching my leg. Something touching my right leg. I can honestly, I'm not joking, I can feel something touching my right leg.
something just tugged on the bottom of, I'm not kidding you, the bottom of the dowsing rod just went like that. Something just
Something just flicked the bottom.
It tugged it like that.
Is there anybody still in here? Yeah, that's just that right one again. Oh, that's bizarre, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Oh. Okay. Have you noticed what's just happened?
No.
It's pointing over to the right.
Is that where you are? Yes.
Yes.
Well, actually, here we do have the two ladies that spent some time here. We've got Sarah and, of course, Jackie. Now, I think you're incredibly brave because it is a horrible place down here. Just explain to us what was going through your mind. I mean, we've seen some clips there, so just tell us what was going on.
Well, we first got down here. It wasn't as dark as I expected, so I perhaps wasn't as frightened as I thought it was going to be to begin with. But once you're down here for a few hours, it is a little bit spooky and a little bit chilling, and I just wondered what was going to happen. And, you know, I really was very excited to be here.
Were you frightened at all?
It got scarier the longer we were here, because you sort of have a certain expectation, and then you know you'd hear a sound, or at one point we heard a noise at the top here, and we thought, you know, is it a mouse? Is it? You don't know what you're hearing.
Are you quite rational, the pair of you, or are you true firm believers in the paranormal and you know any noise, anything? Oh, it's a ghost! It's a ghost.
Well, I wouldn't say we were hysterical, but I mean we were certainly. I'm certainly a true believer. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'd certainly believe. I tried to rationalise as much as possible, you know, to be as objective as possible, but I certainly do believe there are things certainly down here as well.
All right, well, it'll be very interesting to see exactly what happens later on. Derek Akora should be quite near, I think. Derek, are you coming down?
Hi, Yvette. Yes, fine. Good.
I was hearing over my earpiece that you're picking some stuff up.
I was. It's just absolutely took me by, I mean, absolute shock and surprise, because what it did, it blocked my ears, this man spirit, and stopped me from concentrating on what I wanted to explain. And for momentarily a couple of seconds, then made me aware of a lady's presence as well. So basically, you know, it just blocked what I wanted to say.
Because it's interesting, isn't it, how as soon as you can shut it off and then you can open up, and as soon as you open up, that's when things happen.
Yes, I mean, you can't control it. You know, if they want to make some kind of conscious link, any spirit person, they can do this. If they come close enough, like they did up there, I mean, it was a first for me how he actually did it with me.
Did you get any names at all?
I actually, as I'm walking down, I got, now that I'm in this energy now, because it's got something to do with this particular spirit man, maybe more so than the lady, because I feel that he's come this way. He's come this way on a number of occasions. Why he wants to come this way, I can't ascertain that at the moment.
Right.
But it's as if, you know, I want to move a little bit further up with this energy, because I just know he's come through.
What was I going to say? Phil, in the baseline experiments, was there actually anything here that showed up at all, or was it all quite quiet?
Well, what we've got to be careful of is that there's a power cable that runs across the roof, which is picked up on the EMF detector. But apart from that, nothing. And I've just done the temperature readings again, and they're virtually the same as when I did the baseline tests.
And also you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it at home, you can hear a constant, well not constant, but a rumbling, and you've got to remember, you know, there are trains.
Yeah, there are trains nearby.
Okay, so when you say you want to go up here,
Just
up
as
the
far
stairs?
as the stairwell, to the top of the stairwell.
Right.
And I just want to see whether his energy, it has been here recently. I just know it. Although, if I ask Sam a little bit about the soul, okay. I felt when I was upstairs, just for a couple of seconds, as if I was going through an experience, what this man actually went through. And, you know, it sounds silly, doesn't it? But here, this is all brickwork. But I felt as if this man actually drowned, because it's as if I was coming up for the last time, and I'm choking, and he just drowned. And he couldn't get out, but he couldn't get it. And yes, I come here. And for some reason, I know this spirit comes on a regular basis from up, right down into this basement area.
Right.
I don't know what is the reason why he's coming here. He didn't lose his life here.
But he likes to come here.
He likes to come here.
What's the connection, do you think, with the woman? Do you...
Oh, I know. Sorry, Evie. That's better.
I hate you when you do
I'm
that.
sorry, I'm sorry. No, it's just the energy that comes
Yeah.
in. As you ask that question, sometimes it prompts, and I feel he's trying to answer in his own way, because his energy is close. The reason why he comes here was because in its use of, I feel, I don't know, storage or what have you, that this man came down here. He was used to either doing something down here where storage was concerned, but where he lost his life, maybe he shouldn't have been. So I feel when he lost his life, his first inclination was to come back down. I get something to do with, you know, I push something up with this man, his energy. Now, what the heck is this? Sam, what is it? It's, yeah, okay. The only way I can describe it is this man, in his process, would put things into something on this level, and then, I don't know, it's like he puts it in, he stores it, and up it goes onto a higher level.
Can I just stop you there? I think it might be quite a good time now to actually go back to David and Richard Felix, because I know for a fact that there is a link with what you're talking about with the water.
Is there?
Yes, yeah, we won't say now. I think it's quite good if Richard Felix can actually talk about that,
These are the
David.
elements that are at play here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yvette, amazing stuff. Richard Felix, as usual, jumping up and down on the sofa. Let me just take you through a couple of those points that Derek mentioned there in the opium den. Firstly, this drowning. I saw, obviously, this scrolling thing. Tell us about the drowning incident.
On the very top of the building was a very, very large water tank. I hope it wasn't drinking water, but I really don't know what it was. And of course the staff used to go up there, they used to sunbathe on the roof, and they used to use the water tank for swimming in. And unfortunately one of the staff drowned in the water tank. They lost him for 4 days, and he was actually in that tank for 4 days. That's why I say I hope it wasn't drinking water.
Well, it would have been.
I would think it probably was.
How very unpleasant.
And I presume that he was a member of staff, probably worked down below in the basements and still haunts the area where he originally worked, of course. And this business of...
And you also mentioned this pushing something. He keeps saying he puts something in and it goes up. He puts something in and it goes... What is he doing?
Absolutely right. It's a dumb waiter.
Right?
A lift, of course, for loading food, because the kitchens were down there, of course, and the food would be transported upwards in what was called a dumb waiter. It was a form of lift. And all the food went up to the next level and then was taken to the restaurant.
And of course, this hotel is very unusual because it was I think it was the first London hotel to have an ascending hydraulic room, i.e. a lift.
Absolutely.
And I think dumb waiters were also very unusual at this
They were in
period
those
of time.
days, yeah.
I mean, that seems incredible. Also, one of the other things, one of the viewers has phoned in and said, this thing about a proud man in room 10. Can you shed any
Well, straight
light
away,
on
I
that?
obviously had a wander around the place earlier, and I went to see room 10, and it was a very big, very grand room. And everyone said, oh, it must be a suite. It's not, because the lift is there. It's the staff quarters. I think it was the manager's office.
We shall find out.
Yes.
Let's go back now to Yvette, who's still in the opium den.
Okay, well, here we are. We're still down here in the basement in the opium den. And I think now would be a good time, don't you think, chaps, to turn the lights off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we turn the lights off, please? There you go. The lights have gone off. Now, I've got my own little camera here, which is quite handy. And basically, if we're all quiet, I know it's quite tricky for everybody, but if you can sort of stand quite still, because when a lot of people are in here, you can generate dust by moving your feet or by any fibres on your coat, and then a lot of people think that, oh, that's orbs, and it isn't.
Yes.
A lot of time it is clothing fibres and, of course, dust. So maybe, I don't know, if we sort of have a wander around and if you guys can keep as still as you possibly can. You never know, we might pick something up on this camera. It is quite spooky, actually, having the hearing the trains going past, isn't it?
Yes.
Adds to the rumble.
Who?
Who are you picking
Okay,
up, Derek?
right. Thank you, Sam. There's a man. Is that the man, Sam? Right? Yeah. Edward? Edward? Edward Larkins. Larkin? Edward Larkin or Larkins.
No, is this the man
In the,
with the water?
drowned. Yes. And, yes. And Catherine, the female, and Catherine Hoyes. Edward, what, yes, Edward was some form of some form of servant. Yes? Catherine didn't belong. She doesn't come down here. She doesn't come down here, but she meets up with him in the manner in which they lost their physical lives. She belongs up. She belongs up. Thank you, Sam. She belongs up. Can you give me a mental image, please? Yes? A maid. She was linked as a maid. A maid.
To him.
I'm not sure whether she was a maid to him or she was a maid whilst Edward was doing his work here.
So they knew of each other?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that's why. But you know, it's the most unusual and to me craziest way. How can they... Both of these two lost their lives in some form of drowning.
Here, in this property?
Yes.
OK.
Without a
David,
doubt.
back to you.
Richard Felix, can you shed any light on that? We're talking about this thing not being there, shouldn't be there. Upstairs, downstairs,
Yes,
maid,
I think
servant?
that, there is a ghost of a lady, and she did not work here. I believe she was a maid to someone else that was actually staying here.
An illicit affair?
I think it's highly likely, because I know for a fact that this lady was pregnant.
We'll keep coming back to this. Now, as I said, our 6 most haunted viewers spent the evening here. They already sent the team to the opium den, and they have decided that the second location to send the team is the basement. The Midland Grand Hotel is built on the site of a Roman settlement, and the basement sits on what is believed to be the remains of a medieval graveyard. Down the deserted staircase and along the damp and cold corridors, many spaces, including the kitchens, pantries and storerooms, have been abandoned, functionless and left to perish. Countless numbers of staff have refused to descend into the darkness that is the basement, where Roman soldiers have been sighted marching through the derelict tunnels in what was once the working heart of London's premier hotel.
OK, well, we're here down in the basement. As you can see, it's absolutely freezing. We've got Richard and Melinda and Phil with me. It is a really cold place, isn't it?
Do you know what it is? It is. It's absolutely freezing. And walking down here, it's just really chilling. I mean, I don't think you can get really an idea of it, obviously, on screen. It's icy cold, isn't it?
I was brought up in rural Aberdeenshire, used to cutting winds, and I can tell you, it is a different kind of cold.
But
I mean, I can't work out whether it's a damp cold, but it doesn't feel like in Scotland we'd say something like cloudy or clinging, like a cold that kind of hangs on you.
Annoying.
Can you imagine spending the night here?
I can't imagine.
No,
I think they must have been
really.
start raving mad. I mean, literally, the minute I walked down here, and I was quite relaxed and everything, but I've instantly got this really oppressive headache, and it's like...
Have you?
Yeah, but it's just like... Well, oppressive is
Well,
the
that's
word.
quite
It's like,
common.
I want to get out.
That's
Is
quite
it
common.
really?
For some bizarre reason, when we've been doing investigations, a lot of people on our crew have actually experienced very, very bad headaches.
Intensely.
Also, backache as well is quite a common
Really?
one.
So what would cause that?
Well, I'll probably let Derek explain it. Let's get the lights down first of all. And can we turn the lights off, please? Okay, and in the other room. Now, normally, if I just get my camera out, because sometimes it's quite tricky, but if we can all try and be a little bit quiet, and maybe I'll just have a wander around with the camera, because it's quite an eerie place. Melinda and Richard, if you feel anything at all, tickling on the top of the hair is quite common.
I was going to say, I keep getting down the back of my neck. I'm not lying. I'm getting chills down the back of my neck. Don't leave me. Come here, you.
Are you that scared?
I am.
Because you look
I
like
really
Scully
am.
in a bad light.
I've got an instant headache and I'm getting chills down the back of my neck. It's horrible. It genuinely.
I must admit, you do get that.
Come and stand over here with me.
Do I have to?
Yeah. Just, I want you to go and stand in. Go and stand in the.
Don't. Oh, I can't go on there.
Yes, you can. Go and stand in the corner over there. Go on.
My goodness.
Richard, go on in.
This is horrible.
No, go
This
right
is a
in the
really
corner.
horrible feeling.
Okay. Take the lights away from
Right,
them.
calm down.
Take the lights away from them altogether. Okay. Let's turn around and leave them.
Don't leave us.
No, leave you alone. No, seriously. If you just stand there very quietly, and then you never know, you might just see if you can get a tickling on the top of your head, and ask quietly if you can ask any spirits to make themselves known to you. You never know. You might hear something behind you. You might feel something on top of your head. Something might touch you. You might feel an icy blast on your face.
No, I've had that before when I was in a hotel in Manchester. It was very dark. It was definitely...
What are you
I don't
feeling at the
like
moment?
it. I feel really, really uncomfortable.
What's making you feel uncomfortable?
It's not just working with me, is it? No?
Aside from that, there is such a tension. There really is, isn't there? Can you feel it?
It's a cold that is cloying, and it's all over you, without a doubt. Make no mistake about that.
I'm not getting any more of those chills, thank goodness. But it's not nice. I don't like being down here at all.
No, it's not. It's certainly not pleasant.
Do you actually feel colder as you're standing still?
Yeah, but is that normal? Is that not?
I'm not feeling colder. I was colder over there. I got a real rush of cold air, literally on the back of my neck.
Yeah.
I think let's bring Derek in now. Let's see if Derek can actually pick anything else up in here. Derek, Akora, come on into the basement and see if you can pick anything else up. Maybe if there's somebody in here with us that... Hello! Melinda was feeling something, weren't you, earlier on?
I was.
Is there somebody in here with us, a spirit person that you can possibly...
Well, can I tell you, Melinda could be feeling that also because of the amount of residual energy that's coming in layers away from the flooring here. And it comes in 3 layers. The 3 layers, the bottom layer, so to speak, which I will explain, is in no effect to any of our energies. It's the second level that would be causing this to Melinda's vibrations. And what it is that going back here in time, there was disturbance down in these levels. This disturbance was to, oh God, okay, it's like saying consecrated ground. And, you know, how dare you lift this up and what have you, and then to see all around people who are in, like, the only way I can describe it, a burial site. And, you know, they were lying in the coffins.
This was a burial site here?
Yeah, all around this area, yes. And, you know, I see this layer, and these spirits, you know, it's not that they're actually walking here. It's just like, hey, why did you disturb us? Why did you disturb our resting place? And it's at that level. Now, can I say the first level, which I want to talk about, is most definitely the trudging and the noises, not just like that train to my ears, but psychically and what have you. It's like, you know, trundling down here. We're talking about hundreds of feet, hundreds of heavy feet walking, and I know it to be of the conditions with Roman soldiers. I know that. But that is the bottom layer. Like I said, the middle layer is which has caused activity down here. Now, on top of that, the absolute amazing thing about it is, I'm in this area and I feel the richest man in the world. And why? Because I've got people in the residual energy walking up and down these energy levels here, these floors, guarding something. Guarding. What the heck were they guarding?
How are you feeling, Melinda, knowing all that information and you've just felt really peculiar earlier on?
I do. Well, I tell you what, it's getting worse actually, because now I feel really, I'm not making this up, but my chest is going really tight. Yes. And it's like it's hard to breathe and everything.
Do you think
quite
that's possibly
suffocating.
because you've heard what Derek has said and maybe your imagination is working overtime?
No, it really isn't. It really isn't. Honestly, you know, to begin with, it was like, yeah, okay, yeah, you know, but I genuinely am feeling that, and that's not being influenced by you at all. That is a genuine feeling. That
Richard, how are you feeling at the moment?
Just you do feel an enormous sense of history. That's too lame a word, but you do feel these layers you talk about. What I sort of feel is a sense, just a huge sense of this whole building being steeped in so many histories, not just the history of the building itself, but the so many personal histories. Yes, without a doubt. You know, and that you can feel. And I'm not sure whether that's a paranormal thing or whether it's just perhaps a romantic sort of idyll I have, or...
Richard, that is the emanations coming from that middle layer of people who are placed to rest, okay? And then many, you know, years later, for that to be all dragged up and changed and to expose their resting place. Right. So basically they would cause, not evil, but would cause the sensation of saying, you know, I'm leaving it in the atmosphere forever to be, you know, buzzing around in our ether. Now, the other thing is, which I've been trying to get to the bottom of, is that this place also was angrily protected by someone, like guarding something.
Here. Sorry, you carry on, Derek, because I'm just going into here and I'm just having a little investigation on my own.
I feel as if I've got a number. It's only in the residual energy. There are a number of men with nothing to do with the layer of Roman soldiers. Nothing to do at all with the burial of these thousands of people, but to do with guarding something, and they had to guard it, and they guarded it with absolute passion. And it's like as if I'm looking at this here, and this is not locked up, but I feel as if, and I did earlier on, is if bolts come across and gates and bang, 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 and I'm stuck and I'm locked behind things. And yet, just for a short space of time, I felt the richest man in the world here.
How far back does this go?
I have to butt in there very quickly. Richard Felix, 3 things he mentions. The first of those is this desecration of ground. What's he talking about?
There was a burial ground, and you must remember that people in those days, even as today, crave a decent burial, and the worst thing on earth for anyone is to think that their body's going to be dug up and removed.
What are you talking about?
St Pancras Church is just across the road, and there was a massive burial ground round here.
And it was moved?
Belonging to St Pancras, and of course when the railways came and they built this, they disturbed all the ground and they dug them up.
Why would, you know, earlier on you mentioned about the burial ground.
Yes.
Do you know why there would be a burial ground here? How long, you mentioned Roman times.
Yes. No, this comes forward after I feel, the Roman times. And for some reason, many, many years later, it was deemed by whoever to dig up these sacred grounds to suddenly realise, okay, maybe by mistake I suppose, but to realise that, hey, they've made one big mistake, because what have they done? They've dug up thousands and thousands of graves.
So, are the bodies still here?
Those conditions, I believe in feeling, so many were moved, but there are so many still here.
Really?
But the physical, yes, underground here. And I feel it's those energies that are lying very, very strongly on this level, in these basements, in this energy field, in this ether, or air.
Do you think that's why there's some activity down here?
Yes,
really?
Without a doubt. And also, the energy, there's extra energy from that third layer, even going on in time, nothing to do with the graves, nothing to do with the graves at all, but to do with the people that used to guard very, very, I suppose at times vehemently, this great stash of monies or something like, you know, something to do with the Bank of England. So we've got 3 layers of residual energy, not clashing with each other, but separately coming out into the ether for us to, you know, pick up psychically. And
sorry, Dirk, where's that draft coming from?
I keep feeling a draft.
God, right across my face.
well,
It's not even like a window open, is it?
Because we're still in our physical body, and our energy field, okay, will pick up this energy. Because you're picking up 3 levels of energies, but residual, yes.
Okay,
but 3.
We'll have to leave it there. We'll have to leave it there. Can I just say thank you so much for coming down?
Thank you. I can't wait to leave now.
If I start channeling anything tonight, I'm coming to lie with you, Yvette Fielding.
Oh my word!
Albeit in a crypt.
We're going to see you on our show tomorrow, aren't we?
Look forward to it.
Thank you very much. It's back to David and the experts.
Thank you very much indeed, Yvette. I bet they wish they'd never accepted our challenge to come here to the Midland Grand Hotel. A fantastic building. Tell me, guys, what do you make of this? Come on, Kieran. You're an academic. You're open-minded skeptic. What do you make of tonight so far?
A lot of the information that we're getting from Derek is good because it's verifiable. There's a lot of history here, and like Richard said, there's so much that he could get coming through. However, for me as an academic, the information that's coming through is not evidence, because it's an issue of how much of this information is available prior to the visit, or how much of this information is available in the public domain, or even just sitting in a cab around St Pancras.
So are you saying that for you there isn't enough evidence because he could have looked it up?
There is that possibility, yes, and that's always a possibility you've got to look at with somewhere that's perhaps as famous as this hotel and in such a central location.
Felix?
The big thing about it is that the ghost stories to do with St Pancras are not recorded. I'm doing a tour of Great Britain. I've done Ghosts of London, and I didn't even know that St Pancras was haunted, so I got no stories about it. It's first-hand evidence from people that were around here, not taxi drivers, I wouldn't think, and you cannot look at... Derek could not have got this information before he came here. I genuinely mean that.
And just very quickly, this Bank of England he kept going on about...
There was a storeroom here, I don't know why or where, but down in the basement there was a large storeroom for storing valuables from the Bank of
Really?
England. I don't know if it was overflow or what it was.
Okay, do you think that you will change your mind throughout the course of this evening?
If we get some more specific information and Richard and I have a chat, then yeah, possibly.
Right, so it is time for the second of tonight's experiments, this electronic voice phenomena. Let's talk us through what we're going to do. We've got the radio here.
Yeah, and at the moment it's set at white noise, 1475 kilohertz. We're going to hold the microphone up to the radio for about 20 seconds, and then we're going to play it back for the TV viewers at home, and they're going to essentially call in if they hear names, if they hear messages, anything that's coming through from the spirit world.
Now, I've seen this on movies before. What's the rationale behind this?
Well, it's another theory as to the idea of communicating with the spirit world. Some people say that they can communicate through mediums. Well, a medium is one channel. Other people say, well, spirits can communicate through this channel. They're communicating through white noise, and this is the only way that they can get through.
And this is medium wave, yes?
Medium wave, and we've got it set at 1475 kilohertz. But a lot of people say you can set it up as long as it's set up to white noise and there's no other interference from nearby radios or things like that, then it's fine. You can still do the experiment in that way.
Okay, all right. So let's do this now. All right, let's just turn this up. So let me just do that. Right, now what we need to do is everyone here, all the audience who are next door and all the audience at home, we need people to concentrate and we need to be quiet for 20 seconds. Let's record this noise for 20 seconds, and I want people at home to listen very carefully and see if they can hear anything at all. So that's 20 seconds. What did you hear?
I heard nothing. I heard white noise, and that's it. And normally what happens in this sort of experiment is that you'd play it back again and again and again and try and pick out messages.
Okay, but this, and I know that this is actually, has to be done on an audio cassette.
Yes, that's the traditional way of doing it.
As we come down here, come and have a seat. Let's play that back for you now. We've got that 20 seconds. Stay at home, concentrate, listen to see if you can hear anything apart from that white noise. Listen, here is the noise again. Anything at all?
No, I can't.
Okay, well, what did you hear at home? Now, it is time to go to the next of our locations. We now join Yvette, Derek and the rest of the team who are outside room 10.
Well, we're not actually outside room 10, David. We've actually just come inside. Now, this is quite a famous room here in the hotel because there's some paranormal activity that's been going on here. And just so you know a little bit more about it, here's some videotape of room 10.
If you follow the main corridor to the very back of the hotel and ascend the staircase, you will find one room, and one room only. Welcome to room 10. There are no other entrances and no exits. Here is where we'll investigate the mystery of the vanishing man. He appears on the staircase leading up to room 10, and when followed, he vanishes through the door. The same door that opens on its very own. Brian Bellamy and Greg Miles were given the mission to investigate room 10. Armed with paper and pens, their task was to try and make contact with the spirits using automatic writing.
Harry, that's your name. Could you show us something? Show us it again, please.
This is absolutely fantastic.
And again, please.
Please. I don't know, it just feels as if it's in front of me. So,
let's just see if we can get any... He keeps talking, I'll see whether we...
It's just...
Oh, there's an all just...
quite cold. It's sort of like,
Yeah.
it's sort of like, it's got this like feeling, sort of like down.
Tingle
my
down
face. Yeah.
Could you show yourself by the door, please? Just make yourself known by the door. Could you show yourself to us on camera, please? Thank you. And again, thank you. Thank you very much. That was nice.
Well, here we are. We have actually got Brian and Greg with us. So just take us through. That was quite weird, wasn't it, what was happening to you, Brian?
It was, especially by the door area. Picked up a lot of tension and cold spots, and then from the camera we saw lots of orb activity. So it's quite amazing, really.
Weird, because we just sort of like would say to them, "No, can you like show us again?" And again, we'd see one instantly on command.
Now, are you both sort of believers, true believers?
I'm sceptical, willing, open-minded, and
yeah, pretty much the same. It's sort of something I'm really fascinated by. I'd like to know a lot more about it. Until I've got actual proper hard evidence, then I won't make up my mind.
Do you think that if you came to this particular room and you had no idea that it was supposed to be haunted, do you think then that you would have been as scared or as apprehensive?
I don't know, because when you're actually in this room, sort of in the dark, it does feel slightly oppressive. You know, it's sort of like it feels almost closed in. So, especially with the hallway as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the same feelings, really.
It's interesting, actually, because what's just happened on the EMF?
Well, I just went over to the doorway with the EMF meter and got a peek on the meter.
Do you want to go and have a see if it does it
Yeah,
again?
a second or two later, there wasn't one there, so I just...
That's quite interesting.
That sort of ties in from our investigation.
Did you get any EMF fluctuations?
We didn't have the reader. All we have is the digital
Do it a
camera.
bit slower. Nothing.
No.
I mean, there's leads there to the left.
There are leads there, but
Okay.
I wasn't that far into the door.
All right. Thank you very much to you both, Brian and Greg. Okay, now then, I think it's... I mean, let's just show you a basic kind of look of the room here, because it is quite a very strange... I can understand why Brian and Greg, when they spent the night here, it is quite a sort of... I mean, I don't know if you can see all of this up here. You can see all the ceiling, and oh, it's actually quite grim. And down here, you've got to be really, really careful. Is a nice big drop with obviously we've got a light down there, but it's not a particularly nice place here at all. And maybe it'd be a good idea if we get Derek in. What do you think? Okay, Derek, are you there? Come on in, Derek.
Hi, guys.
Hello, love.
Hi.
This is a horrible room.
Well, the energy in the room is best part residual energy. However, at times I feel that this energy intermingles with the energy of activity. And that activity is caused, I feel, now, and it seems to be springboarding me around my auric field at the moment, especially when I come through the doorway.
Is it a good idea to actually go and stand near the doorway?
I think it is, actually, yes, because it may enhance itself more. But it's like as if it followed me back. And, oh, that's better, yeah. Okay. Oh. Now, this energy, now, what it's actually doing to me, it's making me feel, and I certainly don't suffer with this in my physical body, but as if I've got palpitations here, and that is in memory of something here with this male. Oh, not an old man, this. His energy is relatively young. I would say he would be younger than me in the essence of his energy. And it's like as if, I just feel as if this man dropped. He dropped, and it was not by the hand of another. He certainly wasn't murdered. He found himself alone, this was, I feel, because I'm getting this feeling of agitation with him, that he left his physical body and no one was around. And this is why he still treads up and down here, going through that misery of the feeling of looking down at himself. I'm getting a mental picture of a bedroom. And this mental picture is sticking rigidly with me here. And he's making it stick rigid with me. And it's as if he's lying there with his legs at the end of the bed. And I'm looking down at him. And he was quite a young man. What was that? Okay. Okay. I feel that this person, this man, poor soul, would have suffered some kind of major heart attack, down. And just for a couple of seconds, those feelings in the residual energy stay with me.
Can we take the lights down just while you're
Yes.
in there? I think it might be quite a nice ear. I don't think we can take the lights down too much in this room. We can only take them down a little bit.
And I feel his agitation roams up these upper levels here because, you know, there's a secrecy. Oh, my mind goes to like a feeling of, I'm secret. What is secret? There's a secrecy. I'm secret about something. And this is an agitation with him also, that he didn't, he was found, he'd already left his physical body. And there's this, I can't get through or break through the secret, but there's a secrecy connected with him. And it's like, can I use these words, Phil? It's like, I'm going to my grave, or I've come to my grave, or I've left my physical body, and no one really knows. No one really knows. It's like he's making me feel here. He is definitely not residual energy. This one walks. Who is it, Sam?
Give us a name, Derek.
W. Go on. W what? What does that stand for? Okay, you want me to say that full link, okay? He's given me whatever that stands for. W, and he's spelling it S-C-O-T-T. Scott.
W. Scott.
I feel it must be W and a connection with Scott. It stopped there with him. This man would have only been, I feel he would have only been in his 40s.
Do you have a mental picture of him? Is there any way of you describing how he looks or what he wears or anything like that?
Well, just which I did get briefly, a man that would probably, I'm not very good with age, with spirit people, but he wasn't in any way elderly. This man would be quite young for passing in the manner in which he did.
Did you just touch my hip then?
Don't think so.
You did.
Did I?
Did you touch my hip?
No, I didn't.
Did you do that?
No.
I didn't see his hand go over to you.
Honestly,
Okay, did you feel something then?
I just felt somebody poke me in my left hip.
Well, I don't...
No, it wasn't
because
me.
I'd look from that angle there.
Yeah, I put my clip down like that, but I'm nowhere near.
We've got to take into consideration, he'd be listening to this conversation right now.
Is he in... Does he come in sort of visitation, as you say, or is he resident here?
This man, I feel, is actually here.
I have to say, the spelling out, S-C-O-T-T, Richard Felix, why are you so excited about that?
Because I was spelling it out as he said it. George Gilbert Scott's grandson died in this hotel, but he was here under a
George
pseudonym.
Gilbert Scott was the architect of this hotel.
So, of course, this chap staying there would be proud, wouldn't it? It was his granddad's. His granddad created it. Proud man, that gentleman saw in that room. I'm wondering whether I'm perhaps wrong, and it wasn't the manager's office, but this could well have been a room set aside at the back of this building for other purposes, because you must remember that Mr. Scott...
What do you mean
other purposes? This is an area of red light district as well, still is to this day around King's Cross Station, perhaps, because this gentleman was actually here under a pseudonym. He was not staying here under his own name, and he died of a heart attack. I daren't say more.
And in fact, Derek does say he has palpitations and in his 40s. Tell us more about that.
Well, it was a very posh room. I wonder whether it was, as I say, for the ladies of the night. I wonder whether he actually...
What are you saying, Richard Felix?
I'm saying there's every possibility that he was having an illicit affair with someone here and probably died in bed.
With a lady of the night?
Who knows?
Loving that. Love that. Kieran, come on. What do you make of this now? Don't tell me it's interesting.
I won't.
He's come out with Scott, and Scott is the grandson. We know he died in this hotel.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yes, it is very good, and at least we're not just getting first names, which is always a frustration in these sort of cases.
You wanted a surname, you've got
I
one.
wanted a surname, and I've got one. However, it's Scott, it's the son of the architect, famous because he's the architect of this particular hotel. And again, I have to take issue with, is this information in the public domain? Could it have been found out before? And that's what I have to stick with.
So you're still remaining a skeptic at this point?
Yes, yes.
It is time to see the stairwell, the east stairwell. In 1873, the east wing opened to the public, 3 years before the rest of the hotel became active. It is here on the public stairwell that a young maid plunged to her death while serving at the hotel. Whether she fell or whether she jumped, the exact details are very vague. But the hotel gave distinct signals when they raised the handrails to prevent any subsequent accidents. Could she be the figure of the girl seen hovering on the staircase? Our two most haunted viewers, Anthony Massey and Emma Mackenzie, both arrived at the hotel to uncover the mystery of the East Wing stairwell. With the aid of a digital camera, they set about trying to capture a ghost on film using spirit photography.
How you doing now?
Really scared.
Why are you scared? Well, we've just asked to if she'd show herself. We did hear a shuffle, which did seem closer than any of the noises that we've heard before. Yeah, put it down to any paranormal activity, but there was a shuffle, there was, and we heard it. It sounded like it was coming from just there.
Don't leave me. Anthony, please come here, don't.
Still feeling scared?
Yeah. Even more so as time goes by.
It's getting darker and colder.
And lonelier.
I'd like to see an orb.
It's totally different watching this on TV and doing it. Totally different.
Emma, you sound a little bit freaked out.
I don't know why, because I have what I like to believe I've lived in a haunted house, but this room just made me feel, sad and scared because I didn't know what was going to happen, to be honest.
Did you know what had supposedly happened with the...
I did, yes, but I felt sad anyway as I walked in. I just felt really uneasy.
How did you feel?
Well, I felt really uneasy when I first came here, like even being here now feels like there's a presence watching me. My friend Richard told me about the history of the building. Couldn't prepare me for it, not one bit.
And it's not paranormal, but you do actually look a bit like Tom Cruise. I just thought I'd say that.
Thanks.
Now, apparently there were some orbs on the VT, but I have to say, if you look actually on the ground, if the camera can actually look on the ground, you've got, again, an awful lot of dust here, which, can cause, as we've already said, an awful lot of light anomalies, which people mistake for, supposedly, orbs. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. If you'd like to go out, because I think what we'd like to do now is take the camera and turn the lights down, if we possibly can. I do know that it's absolutely freezing in here. I mean, the whole place is so cold, but this place... Is it possible to turn the lights down? There we go, we've turned them off. Okay, we've got the crew here, there's Paul. Are you feeling anything, Paul, at all?
There's quite a lot of a draft.
There is a bit, it is quite cold.
Supposed to be here earlier.
No, it is quite cold, actually. It is very, very cold. And of course, let's have a look up the staircase as well, which is quite... It actually is a very, very... My camera is failing, apparently. Oh, it's back? Okay, can you see what I'm looking at now? It is quite a freaky staircase, and there's lots of draft coming through there, but at the moment, I'm not feeling anything, apart from being absolutely freezing. It is so cold. And you can actually see some of the cobwebs there just sort of moving about. So there is a draft, and there's Derek. Derek, do you want to come in? And see if you can, come and see if you can feel anything at all. And Phil. Can you feel anything?
At this moment now, this like, again, this is to do with residual energy again, and just going through the feelings of the upper floors. And as we're on the ground floor here, I'm, psychically being counted 1, 2, 3, 4. And I get to the 4th level from this ground, and who? Thank you, Sam. This young lady, please, who is close on 4 months pregnant, carrying boy child. actually did plunge from that 4th level. Who? Right. This young lady, please, was a mere 19 years of age. Oh. 19, Evie. And she was a very, very attractive young lady. And she'd already, thank you, Sam, she'd informed one particular person of their pregnancy.
Christ, sorry.
Of her pregnancy. And he said that she could no longer stay doing what she's doing. She was just absolutely heartbroken. Such a way that, you know, she lost her thoughts when she was up there on that 4th level. And this wasn't either, she took her own level, she jumped, she come over.
Why was she so unhappy?
She was unhappy because the person that she confided in, the man, I feel was her, she was, I don't know whether she was a maid to him or a servant or something, and he said that she was finished and so on and so on. But there was something else behind it, Ivy. Now, it's even better. Thank you for the energy, Sam. You know, behind the links with this, the reason why she informed him, her name is Elizabeth. Come on, please. Come on, please, sweetie. Please give me it.
Who made that bang then, by the way? Who made the bang? There was a bang there. Did you bang on something? Did nobody else hear that?
I heard it.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I felt it as well.
You felt it?
Okay. Elizabeth Brownlow. It's either Brownlow or Brownlow. Brownlow. Elizabeth Brownlow. And the man that she confided in, she told him, and she expected some kind of a loyalty because he was the father of this child she was carrying. And he was linked in marriage elsewhere, and he was much older than her. And this is why she decided to come over. This was not an accident. She did take her own life. Bless her. She needs releasing from this energy field here. She doesn't want to be here. She does not want to be here. She's so distressed. She's up and down the stairs at times. She never goes beyond the 4th level.
Is she here now?
She's in the energy.
Right,
Can we go up to the 4th level?
I don't know. We'll have to. Can we go up to the 4th level or not?
Do you want me to go have a look?
I don't know if we can.
Could you go up, Phil, and just use your monitor, because her energy, it's like as if she's going through that. That absolute hell state of mind before she took the plunge. All was lost to her. God love her.
I don't know how far this cable will go with the camera.
God love her.
Can we string it over the... We're having problems here with the cabling. See if we can get the camera to go up. God, it's a horrible staircase. It's a really horrible staircase. It's cold, it's echoey, it's not nice at all.
This is the soul that was earlier giving me Elizabeth, Lizzie, and now we come to the area of her.
Oh, well, that's a draft from that door there. That's a draft from that door there. Nothing up here, Phil.
Nope.
Is this where you mean, Derek, or even higher?
It's a higher level, just next level.
Can we go any higher, guys?
One more level.
One more? Oh my God, she threw herself from up here?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And, you know, she left her physical body instantly. In other words, she killed herself instantly.
God.
Just
this
here?
Is the level, yes.
This one?
Yes, here.
Oh, look at it. It goes even further. Look at that. Wow, up there.
Yes.
Oh, what a drop.
This is the level that she come over.
Oh.
And the energy up and down.
Where did she throw herself from, Derek? Do you know?
I feel these conditions, she actually, rather than the top here, come over the side, I feel.
Here?
Yes.
Where I am now?
This energy where you are now.
Can
Let
you
me go back.
feel her? Can you feel her?
I just want to see the conditions. Yes, her energy, okay, it's not so much in reactment. She wants to, and as I get her energy field, you would not think that this young lady was pregnant. There's no, like, as she was. But she knew she was pregnant and informed him of it.
So are you saying that whoever she was pregnant by,
Yes.
she informed him of it?
Yes.
And he wouldn't have anything to do with it?
No,
and so
he was dismissing her, told her to go and what have you. She had nowhere. That was a role of a job. It was just a hopeless situation for her. And, you know, not thinking clearly and what have you, she came to this area and she just took herself over.
Oh,
Bless
what
her.
a horrible... I have to say, this is a really horrible place.
Well, her energy is still here in its essence, and it's still here in 3 different roles. First, there is a certain amount of anger as well.
Look at here, there, wobbled out there. What does she look like, Derek?
Right, a description, she's actually, I mean, you're very slim yourself, but this girl's even slimmer than you. She's a little bit taller. Her hair, the way she had it up bobbed, okay, and a bob in here, light hair, very, very, very high cheekbones, and dimples, I suppose. But, you know, the booties and what have you that I saw her wearing, and also the purple and the blue long dress, and that seems to be tightened here at this level. And I also get some kind of what she wore to the right-hand side in her hair, a clip.
Okay, you carry on talking, Derek, because we're going to go over to David. David, this is a really freaky place. This is not nice at all.
I was there earlier today. I have to agree with you. Now, come over here. This is Rebecca. We spoke earlier. You mentioned, and I said, watch on, you mentioned this affinity you have with a pregnant woman.
Pregnant woman, yeah.
You're trembling.
Yeah, I feel really spooked now. I'm really cold and shaking, and I've got tingling right down the right side of my body. And I said to my husband, I felt someone was sitting by me that was touching me. I also said to him earlier that I felt this woman killed herself because she got pregnant by a married man, and I think Derek's just said something about her being pregnant
The
by a
story
married
goes
man.
that we believe that this woman threw herself off that staircase because she was pregnant and couldn't be pregnant out of wedlock.
Yeah.
Let's go up here. Thank you for that. Let's go up here because we've actually got some other faces from Living TV. First of all, let's just say hello to Tony, your street psychic. You also are on Living TV on this show, Street Psychic.
Right,
now tell me, what do you make of tonight?
It's absolutely fascinating. Sitting here is incredible. I'm very much aware of a young guy. There's an absolute sense this guy did not commit suicide. Not wishing to make everything gruesome this evening, but I know this guy's got unfinished work. And
what do you mean?
Effectively, people thought he killed himself, and I know he didn't.
Who didn't?
This young guy that I'm picking up from the spirit world.
So what are you saying? He was murdered?
He was murdered. Absolutely.
By who?
I'm not sure. It's 2 fellas, 2 guys that
Where
came
was
behind
this?
him.
Where should we go? Tell me now. We'll send Yvette and the team there.
When I was watching the footage with Room 10, I felt it more there than
Room
I have
10?
anywhere else, absolutely.
Okay, do you want to go into Room 10?
I'd love to.
Okay, we'll send you into Room 10. Colin Fry, very quickly, what do you make of this evening? You're also a medium from Living TV.
Absolutely fascinating. But I've been picking up on this, this young coloured boy, and he's told me 4 times now that he knows 2 secrets about this place. He has also recently shown me, as we've been sitting here, that he has wheel marks on his back. He was beaten to keep quiet. But he
What are
knows,
the secrets?
He knows about 2 instances in this place where there was a suicide that was forced upon a young woman, and he knows the secret of a young man that died, and it was said to be suicide, and it wasn't.
We are back in Room 10, and we've got 2 visitors who've surprised us and come along, and we've got Tony Stockwell and also Colin Fry. Now, apparently, you were saying, Tony, that you think that a murder has been committed down in the basement.
Absolutely,
Is that right?
absolutely. I'm standing here now, and I'm trying to pick up on this energy, and I feel absolutely petrified. I have this very strong image of a young guy, 27, 28 years of age. I feel I've actually been, he was chased through this door and into this room. I know he's been followed by 2 big guys, two huge guys. And as I've tried to tune into that energy, it's such a sense that these guys were sent by the young man's father. In some way, this young man had embarrassed his father, he had embarrassed his family. This guy was such a sensitive and a loyal and a loving guy, but was not as the family wanted him to be. And I sensed that there was, as I opened myself up to his memory, that I had this restriction around my throat, and I felt I was either being choked or being pulled up by a rope or something.
Can you give us a name for this man?
I've tuned in and I have tried desperately to find a distinct name. The only word that keeps coming to my mind is Archie. Now, I'm not saying it's his name, but I know it connects around him and very, very strongly. But I feel almost as though he had this love for Archie, and that's what I feel.
You're getting quite emotional, aren't you?
I can feel very strongly his energy with me, and I'm literally shaking all over. It's so weird. But I know in some ways he wants to say that he had not killed himself. That it was actually his life was taken.
Can you give me a surname to Archie? I know it's a lot to ask.
Whether it goes with Archie or it's actually independent, but it's like Jones or something with Jones on the end.
Okay, what about you, Colin? What are you picking up?
Ever since I've arrived here this evening, I've had 4 times now I've seen this young, coloured boy. Dressed like a page, turban. He looks much too dark to be Indian. I think he was just dressed up in that way. I've seen him 4 times. He's told me on 4 occasions now that he knows a secret. He knows 2 secrets. And the last time I saw him, in my mind's eye, he showed me that he had wheel marks on his back where he was beaten to keep quiet. As soon as we came into this room, I felt his presence with me again, and there are 2 spots where on both occasions my jaw clamped together as if I had the presence of the feeling of a young man.
Can you take us there?
Literally clamped his jaws in terror, absolute terror. One of them is actually over here, looking out over the window, and it is even though there's like this open window space, it is unnaturally cold here. It does not feel natural. It's a cold of terror. And the other place is over there, and I feel as though this young man was over here, that door was burst open, he ran in terror from there to there, and he got himself stuck into this corner, and he got stuck into this corner, and he had nowhere to run to, and his jaw was clamped together in terror. As it came upon me, it was like lockjaw. He was in like absolute terror.
Now this secrecy, Derek, you picked up on that, didn't you, earlier on?
I did, Ivy. And, you know, linking in with the 2 gentlemen here now, Colin and Tony, is that I've got an extension, maybe their energies have helped this as well, is when we were talking about names, I get very strongly Herbert. There's a connection with Herbert. Now, do you understand this?
I can add to that. There was 2 men, and one of them, this is coming through to me really strongly now, one of them, his surname or his nickname was Scally. Scally or Scully, but it doesn't feel like a proper name, it feels like a nickname.
I just heard something in my ear from the gallery. Can you tell me that again about the information that you just... Herbert the Hangman, apparently. Well known in this hotel. I take that to be he was a hangman, or was that just his nickname? That was his nickname. Okay, so there you go. That's very interesting. So are you all picking up on a similar kind of energy?
Yes, you've got 2 mixtures coming in. You've got 2 energies, and in actual fact, that falling down of this massive heart seizure with this relatively young man, he's come up here, which I want to maintain he did not lose his life here. However, since Tony and Colin's arrival, I'm making those links, okay? I've got to say, you've actually helped those conditions open up in the atmosphere, thankfully. And, okay, the name Herbert, maybe, I don't know if that's the surname, Scally or Scully, and also if he was a hangman, well, there you are. Other conditions actually happened here.
I just want to add, really, this energy that Colin's already mentioned here was so intense when we first walked in, and this is the area that effectively affected me so much. I felt literally I was being throttled in that place. And the energy is still there. I would defy anyone that's with an ounce of sensitivity to walk into this room and not feel that in that area.
Can you show us physically what you're talking about?
The only thing I can tell you with absolute truth is there's a sense of something being around my throat, and literally I'm being pulled and pulled backwards. And as Colin was talking, there was this sense of these two men after this young guy, and one of them was a big guy, had a massive scar here, down his face. And this guy was absolute evil, absolute menace. It's a sense of being just simply petrified. Petrified.
And Tony, as you say that, I'm just picking up something else, but there's something incredibly peculiar about one of the eyes of the guy, one of the guys that came through the door and terrorised the guy. There's something peculiar about it. It's almost like it's got a mark in it.
Yes, or blind in it.
Yeah, it looks blind, but it's not. That's what it looks like. It looks like a blind eye, but it's not. It's a peculiarity or a scar actually in the eye.
You really are very shaken by all of this, aren't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just feel as though there's a job of work needed to be done, almost like to be cleared from this room, but it's more of the spirit of this guy that needs to be held.
Well, I think
it's the terror.
I think the best final word from you, Derek.
Well, I feel very, very strongly, as I've just said a moment ago, about Tony's and Colin's arrival, which happens sometimes in locations where something will be picked up as far as energy, and yet here's two other sensitives that have come in, which then is allowing this other energy, two separate conditions altogether, actually coming in. But the name Herbert, most definitely is at the forefront of all these conditions.
Okay, well, I have to hand back now to Richard, Felix, and the other experts, and of course, David.
Thank you very much, Yvette. We were just actually discussing something. You know, we spoke about this murder, this brutal attacking in that room. Well, this is slightly unnerving, which is that one of our most haunted viewers who went into room 10, if you remember, they spent the evening here, wrote this letter. And in this letter, wait for this, he writes, "Protect me from the man. He is near, he follows me. This room has many stories. I am 55 years old from 1812, and I was brutally attacked here." 1812 doesn't tie in, but you know, the brutal attacking. How would you explain that?
As I said at the beginning of the programme, there's 2,000 years of history here, and before this was built, there were at least 3,000 houses around this area. It was called Agar Town. They were mainly slums.
And it was demolished, wasn't it?
Demolished. So you see, the things that could have happened on the site, I don't know, perhaps...
I mean, there are tons of stories about brutal murder, but our mediums didn't know about this letter, and that, for me, is
it ties in very much with what they're saying upstairs.
Come on, you're very quiet.
It ties in, yes, and...
Is that because we want it to tie in?
Well, possibly, yeah, because given the circumstance, given the context, the environment, we're going to come up with more negative information. And totally, the mediums have come up with negative, and we've got negative information. The interesting thing here is the name John Williamson. Richard and I were talking about some of the information that we get is ambiguous, vague, you can't verify it. Perhaps we could verify the name John Williamson.
Please will you welcome Yvette Fielding and Derek Acora. Okay. That's enough.
Of course, we haven't been able to see anybody. Hello.
I know, hundreds of people have packed in here to see you. Okay, come on, let's cut to the serious stuff here. Derek, what about the night for you? How's it gone?
It surprised me, actually, David, because when we first started, you know, I didn't expect two energies to come to me before we started. And as the night progressed, there was a mixture of the residual energy, and I felt, I don't know how you felt, quite a lot of information. I hope that information was either correct or near to it.
I was very surprised. I've never seen you stumble like you did right at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, well, it did, and it stopped my thought of what I wanted to say. And it's a first, but then again, in this way, you know,
you never know.
No one never knows.
No.
What about you, Yvette? What sort of night have you had?
I've had a very interesting one. I always love working with Derek, and it's always a surprise to me every time he comes out with some information, and of course we find it to be correct or nearly correct, which I find brilliant. Slightly disappointing. I would have hoped for some more sort of activity, especially down in the basement level. I did find one thing particularly interesting though, which was the
Oh, the
slight
prodding.
poke there on the hip.
And
which
you
was-
really felt
Yeah,
that?
it was just as strong as that, so that was quite interesting.
Well, do you know, I was just jotting down, as I do, what you came up with, and you have. I mean, you know, you came up with these names, Edward Larkins, Catherine Hoyes. Do you remember in the Opium Den earlier on? Yeah. You also mentioned this Scott, this guy, Palpitations, who died. I mean, and I think, one of the members of the audience here talked about the pregnant woman, which, and viewers at home picked up on that as well. And then you said it. That for me was impressive.
Well, you can only but try. And if those lovely people, spirit people who are active, can come forward, as some of them tried, it can help greatly. And I thought, the ones that we actually linked with did us proud in the sense that, they wanted to link with us. They don't have to, do they?
No, absolutely. Well, thank you for the moment. Now, please really welcome back our other experts, Richard Felix and, of course, Kieran O'Keefe. And Phil Wyman. Shall I go in the middle? Come here. Gather round. Let's have our experts. Right, okay, guys. Let's start with you, Phil. What do you make of tonight?
Interesting. Some interesting results. I'm not quite sure what's been caught on the webcams.
Okay.
But it'd be interesting to see what was caught on the webcams. But I quite enjoyed it.
And what do you make of, some of the stuff that Derek's come up with, this disturbance of burial ground, the trampling of Roman soldiers' feet in the basement?
That is so true. It's unbelievable. Again, Derek came out with the goods.
So you're convinced that there is paranormal activity in this hotel?
I wouldn't say I was convinced. There could be, but I'd love to do another investigation in here.
All right, okay. Kieran, where do you stand now?
Are
you nailing your colours to the mast?
I'm still on the fence, I'm afraid. Evidentially, for me, in terms of paranormal activity, I would say no. However, two interesting things for me this evening. One is the automatic writing experiment. We got some fantastic information through from that, some pictures, etc. And then...
Right, stop. Let's talk about those experiments. We did the automatic handwriting experiments. Let me just remind you, look at these drawings. These are, I don't know if you saw these earlier, these are the two fantastic drawings from people that automatically have drawn this. A woman called Elizabeth, which Derek came up with. We believe that may or may not have been the girl that committed suicide. And this, of course, a Roman soldier in the basement, Richard Felix.
Absolutely. A very good drawing of a Roman
very good.
soldier. There were thousands of Roman soldiers around here.
So you're impressed. What about the night for you?
I'm terribly impressed. It's an excellent place. Of course it's haunted. All houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Look at the life and death that's gone on in here.
Yes.
Yes, of course it's haunted.
Let's go to Jane. Come in, Jane. You've been monitoring the situation at home. What's the roundup from you?
Well, in terms of sightings, a lot in room 10. A lot of people have connected it with a brothel. The man in room 10 connected it with homosexuality and transvesticism, which is rather interesting. We've heard voices in the basement. A little girl has been looking for Derek in the stairwell. A hunched figure has been seen in the basement, and a child following you, David, around.
Really? And viewers at home are convinced there is paranormal activity?
These are all sightings on the webcams as well as the live feed. In terms of the names, the interesting ones, Kieran, are the ones that preempted Derek. Right. Patrick, 3 people came up with Scott before Derek did. Elizabeth came up a lot prior to and after Derek's findings. And typical of the pictures we were getting through are these.
Brilliant.
Most of them are women and roughly drawn figures.
Thank you very much indeed, Jane. Okay. I'm afraid the time has come where we have to say thank you to all of you at home. Thank you to all our audience here. But I do really want to thank all our experts here, assembled here, who've given their opinions. Also to Richard, to Kieran, to Phil, thank you. Derek, final word to you. How has the night gone for you, and what do you expect from now on?
Well, tonight I thought was very good. Very good in the sense that we had a mixture of the energy of activity and also residual. And for the new series or the second series,
thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Thank you from all of us. Good night.